Jason.
Danny.
How we getting on, buddy?
What a morning we've had, eh?
Oh my god. So, there's like roadworks on the way to our studio at the moment because the road there has been so bad, filled with potholes. You literally need to go over at 2 miles an hour, and you're like bouncing up and down. So we're like, all right, that's great. I get to the studio, and I'm like, I get to the front door, and I'm patting down my jacket. I'm like, shit, I've left my keys.
What an idiot.
What an idiot. So then I phone Jason and I go, Jason, mate, I've left my keys. I'm just gonna have to wait for you to get there. He's like, all right, yeah. You at the office? And I'm like, yeah, I'm just standing outside. Okay, great. Jason arrives at the office and what do you phone me to tell me?
You got your keys. I don't have my keys. Now, you say that story as if you phoned me. You sent me a text. Now, I was going through my own process in the morning. Don't have keys. Instant thought in my head, I'm going like, that's fine, I'll let him in. Because my keys are always in this pocket. However, last night.
Not today.
Last night, they fell out the pocket. Oh. And I didn't put them back in the pocket.
Perfect time.
So I was arriving to the studio, going through that, what would normally be a 10-minute journey, took 35 minutes. Going through that traffic, thinking, I'll get them in. Not knowing that my keys are at home as well. So also, a couple of idiots. Of course, we had a podcast this morning that we were obviously recording right now. That was in 5 minutes' time, so we had to let that person know that we're a bit late. And then we come back to the studio eventually. The internet decides to fail on us.
Absolutely amateur hour.
It has been an amateur hour. But after all that, we're going to bring ourselves right back up and cheer ourselves up because we've got the man who goes to the gym because he's too short to get fat. Chris from Chris James.
I wasn't expecting that. You have read more about me. It's true.
We do our homework.
My gym time is limited now, so I am putting on a little bit of timber, and that gnome in me is definitely threatening to come out. So.
Hey, look, it's good to put it on, so it's good to take it off. That's the way I'm seeing it. I'm just building myself up so that I can, reap the dopamine effect of when I eventually do lose it.
You need to come back and start playing squash.
I'm injured, mate. I'm injured.
He's always injured. He just doesn't want to play squash with me because he knows he gets beat. Funnily enough, because obviously we were listening to you on the Coda pod, so you're also rocking one AirPod today, not for style, but
no.
purely because you lost one. Was it in a treadmill?
Gym related incident. So in my efforts to not be fat, I was doing a little bit of run and I got 10 minutes in, so I'm really getting into it and sweating, and then all of a sudden one of my AirPods just popped out, and the lady next to me was like, it didn't bounce, and I had like 5 people looking for this AirPod under the treadmills and everything, and it turns out it got wedged. Like, I don't know how it did it. It got wedged in between like the running bit and then I don't know, and it was just stuck in there. So
stuck in there forever.
One AirPod.
Do you know? I remember when I bought my AirPods from Apple, and I was like, I'm a bit concerned that they would fall out. It's like, why does everyone think that? So he maybe put them on, and then I'm just an Apple going like this, and it's like, look, that's not how you'd run. But clearly, if you do run, they do fall out because I don't know, design flaw. I need the ones that have the hoops that go over.
But yeah, no, that's an unfortunate and expensive thing to happen at the gym, I guess.
No, I'm real tight. I will rock one AirPod until I lose this one, basically.
Sure.
So,
I think first of all, we will address the elephant in the room and get you to talk about your recent win, your high of winning the national award at TWIA, and that was when was that again? Was that in January?
January, yeah. So the regionals were in November, I think, and then the national final was in. How was
that feeling? Because we seen your reaction from your. I love that video you made, by the way. That video.
Oh, thank you.
That video was absolutely fucking stellar. I loved it. Like just everything, the music and everything. It was just class. And then, because if you haven't seen this, go on to Chris's Instagram and watch it. Because he's basically just got like a reaction video of him. When Damien announces the national winner, and you see his face, and then it slowly just starts to kind of like cut into like just shots that he's taken at weddings over that year, and then some reviews, kind of like or comments from clients. I absolutely loved that. It was so good.
Thank you. I got lucky because there was loads of cameras on us as well. So I had literally this multicam thing going on that I could cut to.
Full production. Cool. I love it.
But yeah, it was amazing. To be fair, I've entered the awards for a long time now. So I've won the regionals previously, but I've never won the national. So get into that stage, and then obviously you're with a bunch of videographers who are incredible. Everyone there was great in their own right. So to walk away with the win was quite something. I couldn't quite believe it, to be honest, at the time. It took me a long time to sink in, and didn't really want to celebrate too hard as well, because everyone was so lovely and they were all celebrating for me, but I didn't want to come off like a bit of a dick, so I just kind of had to keep it real low key. And then I celebrated. I had a few drinks. Probably shouldn't have, because my wife was very heavily pregnant. But I had a few drinks and then celebrated by lobbing my award onto the floor and smashing it into two pieces. So smart.
Oh no! Oh man! That is an absolute gutter. I remember, I had a similar feeling when I won, because I won the best newcomer. And obviously it's the wee kind of plastic trophy, and the little thing, I didn't smash it to pieces, obviously it's plastic, but the little stand thing broke. So then I was just going up.
I've also broken one of those, in the past, at the actual awards. I was on the dance floor or whatever, and I just lobbed it, broke it in half. Yeah. I'm not even sure I took it home.
Mine, and then I was having to go for the photos and stuff, and I'm just having to hold it. I'm having to hold it like that, just so that it's still upright with two hands.
I remember I won an award in Scotland. It was called the Confetti, and it's the first time I'd ever won an award. I remember clutching onto that thing so tight all night that the sweat from my palm actually removed the logo from the award. So you can see half the logo of the award is just all faded away because my hand was just clutched onto it all night.
That's hilarious. But I think that point you said there, obviously about not wanting to celebrate and stuff and gloat too much. I think, looking at, I think that circle of winners, certainly from what I've seen, in the videographer community, it's everybody's always chuffed to bits for you, It was the same with Rue, the year before and stuff, and you can see that everybody was just happy for you, and you rightly said, there was so much good talent within that pool, but somebody's got to win it. So
it's just such a great community, isn't it? I think that's something that's grown and grown over the past. I mean, I've been doing it for 13 years, and when I started, there was no community really. And now it's huge. You got things like this, podcasts, people are chatting. You got meetups, and you guys are doing your summit and stuff like that, which is just bringing everyone together and just building a real good community where everyone can learn and and grow together, which is great. So
yeah, it's awesome. You're right, because it felt like there wasn't really anything for quite a while, and now obviously so much has popped up even just in the last year and a bit, so we're here for it. We're here for it.
Totally here for it. And obviously you mentioned you started there 13 years ago. So how did you land into this crazy business?
I went to university to study it, which is something that you definitely don't have to do anymore. You just crack onto YouTube and get some tutorials and whatnot. So I went to uni, and I didn't really want to go into TV and stuff like that. I wanted to be my own boss. So I was fortunate enough, I knew one of my oldest friends was a wedding photographer. So I got in touch with him and was like, have you got any video work going? We did some corporate stuff, and then we put together a wedding package. And so I jumped on a moving train. It was they were established for a year before I joined them. So I had that little head start there in terms of getting going. But also back then there was no sponsor posts on Instagram until you get all your work in. It was it was a real graft to kind of get out there, like not quite hanging posters up in pubs, but it was near enough close to that to get the work.
Yeah, so you were like a kind of doing like associate work and stuff as well. Were you under or shooting under that brand for a while? Was that right?
So it was kind of their brand. So David Boynton Photography it was called.
Yeah.
So he's still got that under that brand, and he's a brilliant photographer. Little plug for him there. And Luke Small, who's now Saint Photography, again brilliant.
Yeah.
Check them out. And so basically I joined them, so it was their company, and then eventually they brought me on as a director of the company. And then we trained another videographer, who is Ryan from RM Wedding Films. He's brilliant. And then we kind of built the company as a 4-man team, so we could do 2 different weddings on the same day. We could do photo, video out somewhere, and then the same. And we kind of built it from there, and then we kind of, as you can imagine, we went over the VAT, and then we were chasing our tail a little bit to make sure that everyone was getting paid enough, and that kind of crippled us. Not it didn't cripple us financially, but we knew at that point that we could be making more on our own, basically.
Yeah.
So with heavy hearts, we split up. We're still all best mates, but yeah, we kind of went our own way at that point. So.
Yeah.
Whenever you get gigs together, like the photographer and yourself, is it kind of like a boys' own reunion or something like that? Like
Absolutely.
the band's back together.
Yeah. Funnily enough, we once did Boys' Own on karaoke in Cyprus, Napa on a destination wedding. And that was one of the high points of our life. So yeah, that's it's funny that you mentioned that.
Nothing beats getting
we,
the gang back together, eh?
Yeah.
So do you think
when we
do you think then, like, if it hadn't have been for that issue, for instance, like with the VAT, that would just still be going today? Do you think?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, we like it was so fun because you kind of just working with your best mates. Now, as you guys know, I just work alone. Like, it's it can be a lonely industry, which is why the community is so great. But at that time, I was going into an office with 3 other guys, and we'd work hard, but at the same time, we'd have such a good laugh and play pranks on each other. One of my favourite ever was. One of the chaps brought in jam donuts, and I excavated the jam out and put tomato ketchup in there. Then watched it. So I can't do that kind of shit on my own.
Don't get any
ideas.
ideas.
No fun for me to do.
That's a belter idea. I'm doing that.
Oh my god. I couldn't hack it. I'd hate you forever. Don't fuck with my food. That's
yeah,
my
he
one
did hate me
vice.
for a little bit after that. We fell out a little bit.
That's the thing. Yeah, it's like
so
this
fun.
would be so fun to do as a business if you had a group of people. It's just I don't know if like financially it actually works, because obviously you are kind of, as much as that VAT threshold is something that people, that's the kind of ceiling. Some people do go over it and can thrive. We speak about a few photographers and stuff that do well with it, but it does kind of separate you a little bit from the competition, because you have to add that extra percentage on. But I sort of believe that there is a way that you could make it work. But obviously, if there was like 4 of you there, you said there was 4 of you in the team.
Yeah.
So whether or not that size team would work or not, I don't know. But
It's just your volume you have to do, in order to make it up.
You could make it work, but we were just working so hard. We were shooting so many weddings.
Yeah.
It just wasn't worth it anymore. When we left, we all pretty much doubled our wage, kind of thing. Just by going on our own, and then you're seeing all of those payments just coming individually, and it's completely different. Another thing that we struggled with, because we were a photo video team, we were struggling to get recommendations from other suppliers. We were quite tight as a group, and we had to make everything happen ourselves. Whereas now I have a stream of of referrals coming from photographers and videographers, meaning that I don't need to advertise. You know, at that time we really had to work for our bookings kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And how long did you say that you worked there for?
So that was from like 2012 to 2018,
Right, a while
19,
then, yeah.
basically.
That was kind of like the
So I
boom,
quit.
boom season of weddings as well. Like there was,
Yeah.
because there really wasn't, there was like no alternative. The marketing seemed easier. There wasn't as much noise in the industry. So it was for videographers between 2012 and 2019, life was easier than it is now, I would say. So
But
yeah.
exactly, yeah. I think like at the very beginning of my career, it was like a shoulder-mounted camera that was like a proper video camera.
Yeah.
And then, so in that period, then we had the DSLRs come in, and everything became cinematic, and
Yeah.
that was when the standard of work just went up a notch. And then, like you say, it wasn't the industry now is quite saturated, whereas back then it was there weren't hundreds and hundreds of people doing it at a very high level. So so my work at that point could stick apart. So
Yeah. So you,
different ball game now.
yeah, totally. So you decided, you know, and we know from obviously from your chat, but really, you know, after that, you decided to kind of like go out on your own. How was that? Like, what was that feeling like? Because that must have been a little bit kind of like daunting, I guess, because you'd always worked in this kind of like, you know, with your mates and stuff like that, and then going off solo. How was that feeling?
Yeah, it was exciting, to be honest. It was, so the one thing I would say is that financially I had a cushion, because I had a bunch of bookings in for that year through the company. So I wasn't going out with 0 weddings.
Yeah.
I had that buffer. So it was exciting to then build something that was just me and target clients that I wanted to target and get weddings that I wanted to get. Even though we all had a very similar mindset in back in the company, it was good to kind of branch out and do my own thing, and the money was good as well.
Yeah. I think it is like, did you have any concerns about like what was your role in terms of getting bookings in at that company compared to like, you know, managing everything yourself? Were you on the client calls? Were you the one sort of dealing with inquiries in that company, or how did you adjust to that?
Sorry. Yeah, it was well, it was a mix, because I would deal with most of the video stuff, but in terms of like actually running the business, it was more so the photography guys. So that was something that when I went on my own, that was something that I had to deal with in terms of like building a website, deciding where my marketing is going to go, my marketing budget and stuff like that. So that was all new to me, but like I say, it was exciting as opposed to scary. It was something that I wanted to do at that point, so it was quite cool.
I love that buzz at the beginning of starting a business when you think, okay, I want to think about all the ways, because especially if you've been in a business kind of similar before, you may or may not have been doing everything you wanted to if you did it yourself. There's obviously, you know, you've got 3 people to converse with on that, but when you go out yourself, you think, this is how I want to do it.
Yeah.
So the drive to kind of get that going and get it off its feet is really exciting.
I guess you two have kind of got similar kind of like Batman origin stories there, like when it comes, because you were associating, like shooting under a different brand as well, weren't you?
Yeah. So I've been doing it for like 16 years. So I remember the shoulder mount at the beginning, and just on the first dance, basically just panning left to right. That was pretty much all my role was on the dance floor. And so I was.
Did you ever own a slider or a glide
Oh yeah!
frame?
Oh god, I love a slider. Put it on the seat in front of the ceremony, and then just like crank it through there. Oh man, the sliders. The company I worked for used sliders during the ceremony. Like when they were walking down the aisle, they would sort of like be at the back, just like crawling the slider across. Man, we actually made our own slider as well out of like these like pipes, and just got these dolly wheels for the camera. So we would like have like a dolly at the ceremony.
Wow.
It's ugly as hell, man. I can't tell you like the crap that we used to bring to weddings.
That's wild.
There was a point where I would just kind of keep my I would just keep my slider on my main tripod because monopods weren't a thing either.
Yeah.
So I would go around the entire wedding day just with this giant slider like hanging off the side of me.
It's mental, isn't it? Like whenever I still
silly.
see some slider shots kind of creep in there, like from wedding films, I'm like, are you really still using a slider now? Honestly, man, it's you would have loved it back in the day. Like you'd have been all over that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I just heard Russell's bringing out a new slider. Yeah.
Oh, right, okay, I'll buy it. Take my money. No, do you know you can do the slider thing in camera on the Lumix?
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Lumix has got that now, so it's. I mean, look,
No piping required. Just a wee menu button. Boom, done. Slide away.
yeah, slide away.
Yeah.
Well.
But that's what you were bringing that to.
Bringing sliders.
What, like just bits of piping?
Well, essentially, a slider
tell
was
you
like
get
a
to
slider
fuck.
is basically had like two legs, and then there was a big long pole, and then you'd put it on your plate.
That sounds
So it
ugly.
would have a plate on it, so you'd attach your camera to that, and then you just slide it along, and it would have a pan.
This
access
is
to.
just for that shot. Was this like deemed like the money shot back in the day or
This
something?
was the shot. Like
That
you know,
was the
before
shot.
when people said, "Oh, do you have a drone?" People were like, "Do you have a slider?"
Aye.
That was.
I
It
doubt
was
it.
exactly that. It was
Really?
exactly that.
Yeah.
People would ask, "Do you have a slider?"
I mean, they wouldn't,
Aye,
but they would.
Can you
Like,
do that shot?
If you don't have that shot, we're not booking you.
Right,
Like
okay.
that was it. People didn't because it was movement. You know, you were getting movement. Honestly, sliders were they were a pain in the
Because
arse.
that would have been your only way to get movement then, because there was no like gimbals or that.
I mean, you were just.
Well, you'd have like a Steadicam, which weighs an absolute ton, and you'd have to rebalance it after every couple of shots.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I mean,
Aside
it
from
was just basic stuff back then, man. Like
Man, you guys are old.
I remember the first time I attempted, like, you know, like where we like Tai Chi with the camera now, and we kind of like, we'll have it like this, and we'll just kind of, you know, slightly glide the camera from left to right and just maybe go up and use different axes with body. I tried that with the Sony Z1, which was a videotape camera back in like 2010. I remember the owner, Mike, I don't know if you're listening to this or not, but RPL Weddings, like he was like, wow, I've never seen a shot like that. That's really good. That's like the basic standard of shots now. Like, but it was
you
so
go.
jittery and stuff back then because you couldn't get it.
Yeah.
But that was the gimbal shot.
No
Before.
ibis.
No ibis. No. Oh
ibis.
god, it was in like 720 shaking. Like, oh man, it was horrendous back then.
Came a long way.
It has. Oh, it came a long way. But I mean, yeah, I can't remember how we got into this. But oh yeah, because you said we had similar.
I think we took a little detour there.
Yeah. we just went down a wee trip down memory lane there.
But I was the same. Yeah, essentially,
Yeah.
I was the same because I did 10 years of like second shooting and always had an idea as to how. All right, if I was to do this myself, this is how I might go about it. But learning the business side of it, I had no idea. Absolutely
Yeah.
no idea. So, but that was exciting to learn.
Lumix have just announced their brand new S1R2 hybrid camera. And wouldn't it be great to try before you buy?
Well, why not take advantage of the Lumix loan scheme, where you'll get the opportunity to hire a camera for up to 48 hours.
Imagine that. 48 hours, try before you buy. You get to test the camera out and make sure it's the right one for you.
And when it comes to buying that camera, you can use the code TWVP at the Lumix store to get 10% off your purchase.
So to take advantage of the Lumix loan scheme, head on over to the Lumix store now. Yep. And you're basically just from what I understand, you're using kind of like Instagram as your main kind of like advertising platform kind of
Yeah.
idea. Yeah. 'Cause
Yeah.
In terms of like your inquiry, like as a percentage, what kind of percentage are you getting through Instagram as opposed to like Google or something? Do you know?
Well, I mean, people get in touch via my website, but I kind of assume a lot of people find me via Instagram or referral.
Right.
My SEO is just god awful. You literally can type my name and I'm like on the third page. So
Okay.
it's, I don't expect anybody to be finding me via Google. So yeah, I think like through like collaborating on Instagram and stuff like that is just huge for me. I tend to get at least a couple of inquiries per wedding if it's going on Instagram.
Yeah.
And then if you tally that up, it adds up to quite a lot, doesn't it? And you can get your bookings through that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't use sponsored posts anymore, but when I started, that was an awesome tool. So I just kind of put money behind that, and that's how I got my first ever booking. And I used that. I wasn't putting loads of money, but I just used it consistently, and I'd be getting bookings through that, no problem. A little bit different now because everybody's doing it as well. So it's a little bit.
How do you
tougher,
find
but,
your conversion to inquiries? Like, have you got a relatively good one, or?
I used to have a very, very good conversion rate, but I'm not the kind of guy who keeps the stats, by the way. So if you're looking for percentages,
I know Rue's a stats guy, and we love it.
We're back. I can see Chris get backed into a corner. He's like, I fucking don't know. Stop asking me questions.
So what is your ROI for the tax year of 2023-24?
But like, I think this year or last year, let's say, people have been, saying about the ghosting problem and stuff like that. I'd never ever seen it until last year, and people would get in touch, and then, and then it was kind of like, are they going to get back to me or not? I've a lot of people who get back to me like 3 months later, 6 months later. Somebody got back to me and was like,
literally just
still available.
Literally just had that last night, randomly out of the blue. So I was on a client call with another couple who I'd just got off the phone with, and then I just seen quote accepted on Studio Ninja, and I was like, wow, that must be the fastest one, because I'd literally just hit the red button. And then I looked at it and I went, huh. And it was somebody from like 3-4 months ago that literally had just accepted it. So then it was like a quick rush to make sure that I hadn't already like booked up the date or something, because that's happened before. And yeah, it was I think they contacted me back in like November or something.
It is bizarre. Like, people will inquire, and like they go through their wedding planning process at a slower pace. Maybe they just decide, we're going to do all inquiries, then we'll get all the quotes and stuff that we need, and then like take Christmas off, and then come back to it in February and say, the quote's still there. I'll just say accept, that's what we want. I've had that like 3 or 4 times this year so far. From people who inquired.
Well, they're not just sitting there thinking about it constantly, are they?
Yeah.
Whereas we get the inquiry in and we're going, oh, they inquired 3 days ago. Where the fuck are they? They're just like, I'll tell you what they're doing. They're just living their life, and they're not giving a shit about you until they come back to it.
Oh,
so
man. Like, to get
sometimes you just need to have a little bit of patience. I think.
I think if anyone can learn to just understand that not everyone is thinking about you and your business at all times, then you'll get a little bit more sleep at night.
They bloody well should.
Right?
Yeah.
I did hear that thing. It was like, if you're not if you're not posting on Instagram, then people, how would people know that you exist? Like, you know everything about what you're doing in your day-to-day life. But literally no one else gives a fuck about what you're doing. No one else cares. No one else cares what you're doing. So it's that whole 3-month thing, I think it's going to happen a lot more often, because people are just so busy doing other things, and they think, we'll come back to that. But what does it look like when someone inquires with you? Like, so they obviously got your website. Do you have like a standard kind of pattern that you do? Like, what does it look like when someone inquires with you?
I'll just send over like a base email.
Yeah.
And, maybe with I've got a brochure as well. Thanks to Russell. You guys probably use the same brochure. So
same one.
And so I send that over with an email. I send over my prices straight away. Give them a bunch of information about kind of how I work. And then generally, I've found that a lot of people are booking without calls at the minute, but I do offer to do like video chats and stuff like that, and try. I feel like once I do one of those, then I'm pretty much guaranteed the booking. Once I get onto a video call with somebody, but yeah, that's pretty simple, really.
Yeah, no, do you know, that's essentially kind of what we do, exactly the same. I do know there's a few different techniques that people offer. Some people like don't even tell the price; they want to get on the call. Some people like still want to have a bit more email dialogue. Some people have their prices on their website. But yeah, it's always interesting to hear if anyone's got a different kind of tactic to that.
Yeah, because you prices, you don't have price on your website, do you? No, yeah.
No,
yeah,
I don't have the. No,
I think
don't.
you're the same as I am, depending on like if it's right in the middle. So say it was going to put you on maybe like 3 in a row or something, or it's going to make things a bit trickier. Then I will increase the price for that, because it's because otherwise
or if it's like in
more of an
London
inconvenience of sorts to take it sometimes, so it's going to like make it worth your while.
Yeah, exactly. It's
dynamic pricing.
My pricing's slightly fluid. It's not like I'm never ripping anyone off, but if it is more difficult for me, or there's travel involved and hotels and stuff like that, I tend to just have kind of levels of pricing basically, which go up depending on the situation on the wedding and what's going on with me. You know, if I'm fully booked, but I can afford to take one on financially, then I've just got to charge to make it worth my extra time, kind of thing. So
Yeah. Makes sense.
Might be a good time to talk about your packages and stuff if you were quite happy to. Discuss that.
Fine,
Yes. So what does the package structure look like for you?
Yeah, so I offer at the minute. I offer two, so a 10-minute film and a 15-minute film. That's my main kind of offering. Every package includes ceremony and speeches and an Instagram teaser, which I find I do that for free because I find it so important for bookings, like I was mentioning. So that's included, and then the 15-minute film gets like a 3 to 5 minute highlight film as well, which is what are on my website. And those two packages are starting from 2.5, $2.5 grand, and then 2.5 and $3 or $3, 3.5. If it's like a local wedding, I might do 2.5 and 2.8, for example. Depending, but yeah, starting from 2.5 and then kind of working up from there, depending on the situation. So,
did you always have like two packages, or did you go from like 3 down to 2? How did that work?
Yeah, I offered a 20-minute film as well before, which I cut out I think 2 years ago. I just thought just sometimes people would pay for that 20 minutes, and I didn't feel like it made a better film. I felt like it actually kind of made it worse, and I was just shoving in as much as I could do for the sake of it. So kind of cut that down. Maybe consider cutting it down again from 15. I don't know. I can make a really, really good, decent 15-minute feature film, but yeah, I'm just kind of exploring whether to kind of go in between that or
I think I had the 15-minute film on there. The 15 to 20-minute film on there for quite a while, but then I found sometimes, depending on the wedding, that it was I just felt like I was trying to drag the film out, and it just made it a worse film by like making it. I always remember thinking, I was like, this may just be great at 15 minutes, or maybe even just slightly shorter at 15 minutes. 20 minutes is just, it's
but there's
just
no way to then go back to the couple and say, guys, and you got two ways of approaching it. Your wedding was shit and I can't make 20 minutes, or I did a shit job and I can't make 20 minutes, and there's just no. So either way, you've just got to deliver that 20-minute film, whatever you've got. So.
Lot of slow-mo dancing clips.
Oh man,
I make it work.
Yeah, I've definitely been booked. I did one in the past where it was a 20-minute. Like it was I think they'd gone for my 60-minute film, and really wanted lots of high energy. And I remember it being such a quiet, slow-moving day, and I'm like, man, I'm literally gonna have to stay for another hour of dancing just to kind of fill this up.
And hope somebody's on the dance
floor. Hope someone dances. Eventually, it did pack up.
Get really tight.
Yeah, they got like 8 minutes of dancing, like just to kind of fill it in.
Like it's tough, isn't it? Because like you just don't know.
You don't know what you're gonna get.
You can have. It's what I've found as well is you can have the most high energy couple, but maybe like in their family they've taken all the energy. Like there's no more energy left in the family, so like it's not as quite an upbeat wedding. It just kind of depends. But.
Yeah, I sort of wish there was a package, or like it was easy to communicate with people, saying, "Look, there's no time frame here. You're hiring me, and I'm going to deliver you the very best I can do." That could be an 8-minute film. That could be a 16-minute film. It could be a 32-minute film. Like whatever I can do for you, I'm going to do for you, and like that's. But like it because it's such a compatible amongst you and your peers. When people are looking for it, that person there offers a 5-minute film. That person there offers a 15-minute film. Like it is kind of important to still put that out there.
Can I still need to put a number on it?
Yeah.
Swift way to
but like some people still have like
for you and for them.
Yeah, and for them as well. Yeah, it's expectations.
Well
it's expectations of what what it is. But some people will still put in like, oh, you're going to get a 4 to 7 minute highlight. But that's such a variable. It's yeah. I wish I knew the complete right answer for this.
Don't think there is.
There isn't, is there?
Don't think
I
there
change
is.
it all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think I'll be looking at like a little bit of a revamp of kind of what's offered and stuff like that at some point this year. So what was the other thing that I wanted to ask? Oh right, yeah. So the Bordeaux wedding. So we obviously had a wee look through your work, Chris, of course, and one of the ones that really stood out to us was it the Bordeaux wedding?
Yeah.
That your ceremony coverage on that wedding was top tier.
Yeah.
Top tier.
Thanks very much.
The whole film, to be fair, is like stellar, but your ceremony coverage there was brilliant, because there was one angle where the bride is at the top of the steps, and you've got that shot of the groom at the bottom, and she just kind of like comes into frame. Talk to us about the planning of that, because obviously that's vision, right? So talk us through that.
Yeah, so I think firstly, if you've got like an outdoor ceremony, you've got free. You can be really creative there, can't you? You're not kind of, when you kind of the normal ceremony space and it's all quite tight and you got to work with what you've got. So there, it was just this massive open space, so I could do whatever I wanted. I was there. I think I was there the night before for like a wine tasting event. So I kind of saw in my head what I wanted to do the day before. Obviously, that giant staircase going down was going to be a huge feature. And I just thought, oh, let's get a camera at the back, and I think it was a 3-camera setup. So even if that wasn't the ideal camera for the actual, the vows and part of that, it was just brilliant. Just for that shot, it was worth just having up there. So, and then I think I kind of moved around then throughout like the ceremony. So I had one kind of central, you kind of central shot, which is standard, and then I kind of moved around to kind of get the best angles throughout. So that's always pretty cool when you're filming an outdoor wedding and you've got the opportunity to do that. So
yeah, it was stellar. I mean, it was a stellar film overall. It's just like, it was just when you see those kind of like shots, those kind of more kind of like creative angles, and you're like, oh man,
yeah,
that's worth it. It's like Joss, when we had Joss on talking about that shot through the window at Como with the boat kind of going past, and it's like, oh man, what a shot that is, because it's just something you don't see very often. And you're right, when you've got like a ceremony, that's outside, it does free you up to just be a bit more kind of like creative with your angles, rather than just being in that confined space kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's like weddings are busy as they're busy events, so to have clarity of like, okay, just the patience again. Like again, I say this about every videographer that comes on, that I absolutely love their work, and it's that they're patient with the shots, and it's just the complete opposite of me, which is why I every shot I do feels so impatient. I'm always in the rush to get the next moment, or create a moment or something, and it's always so good for me to see how else it should be done, because I can't imagine being that patient to trust that it's going to happen. And I get that when I'm watching your films, it's, it just, everything is just so nicely placed, and just, it looks, are you using a monopod throughout the day? Is that how you're getting everything super still, or is that just...
No, so I just film handheld.
Yeah.
So I use a monopod for the ceremony, but no, I'm just hand holding throughout the day, really. I find that it gives me that just extra speed, just to kind of find, see in the corner of my eye what's going on. I can just literally swivel and like you say, just kind of be patient. I always say to myself, so I like get into the edit, and we all do it. Like, you see the shot, and then just before something pivotal happens, like somebody laughs or whatever, you just turn away. You go, just like give me one more second. So whenever I'm filming, I'm always thinking, just hold it that one more second. You already look enough of a weirdo anyway. They've already spotted you like 30 seconds ago. And
giving you the side eye.
Just let it kind of fly. So I think that's what, sometimes it can be like when you're filming, you just think, oh, I look a bit strange, and you because people expect you to take a photo and then walk away.
Yeah.
So when we're doing it, if you're kind of in sight of them and you're holding that shot for 30 seconds, there in your head you're thinking, oh, I look a bit weird, I want to kind of move away. But key thing for me, just kind of, I always say it before everybody, just hold that shot just for that extra second that you think you probably don't need, but sometimes it pays off.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely something I need to work on as well. 'Cause I'm sick of looking at shots just being ruined by me, like just moving at the last second, and I'm just like, just fucking hold on.
Yeah, I have started utilizing the 7200 during drinks reception just to kind of avoid that weirdness. I'm totally comfortable with it, but it's more the fact that they're uncomfortable with it, and I've gotten way more reactions from the 7200. And yeah, it's quite nice.
Yeah, because that was something that I did notice as well about like that film, that your candid coverage was there was a lot in there, but I guess that makes sense if you were there, because you were recording the night before as well then.
Yeah. I went there the night before, and was filming some bits and bobs. Had a few wines as well, so just to kind of loosen up with the guests and kind of mingling with their party. But yeah, it was it's always different with destinations because you tend to get that extra day, so that can help you to fill up the mingling and get loads of footage. But
Yeah.
Have you got like any sort of game plan for the wedding day, or is it a case of, right, gather as much as I can, let's get to the edit and see how it goes? Because I know that's definitely how I usually operate, is like gather as much as I can and then something will happen. But I guess when I see these beautifully structured films, it always looks like there's a plan. But I know from being a videographer that it's so hard to do that.
Give us a secret sauce, Chris. Come on. Give us the formula. Share it.
Secret sauce is mayonnaise. I love mayonnaise. Mayonnaise makes for good videographers. Get it down, yeah. No, when I go into a wedding, I've got there are key points throughout the day that I think make a good film. So, and that'll be kind of your reaction shots in the morning. So your father, the bride reaction, or your bridesmaids reactions, both. Your groom's reaction to seeing the bride, and that kind of build up to her walking down the aisle is always key for me. And then I think the kind of that instant mingling moment afterwards where everybody's congratulating them, that for me is where I'm trying to just make sure that I'm getting those shots. I'm not necessarily being overly creative, make sure that I'm getting those faces, those interactions. And then after that, I tend to get a little bit more creative with my shots. And then and getting some nice couple shots and dancing, But those kind of points where it's those reactions for me where I can pivot my film around. That's what I feel is most important on a wedding day.
Yeah, I think people do always focus on the couple and think, okay, I need to get more of the couple. But it's the people. It's always the people that they invite that they care about more than themselves. And I always remember that.
You need a few.
Don't get me wrong.
A few good ones.
Oh yeah, you need them. But if you don't have any of the people,
oh totally, yeah.
Right. So
totally.
and it's that moment there as well. It's something that's really, I think it was underappreciated when I first started. I never realized why I was getting them. Like 10 years ago when I was like a second year, I never really got the point of, why are we spending all this time getting like, the reactions after the wedding? We should be like moving tripods and moving for the next stage or setup. And a lot of people do just think, all right, put the cameras down, get the tripods and get ready for the confetti shot. Leave the tripods, get the reactions. That's the most genuine time. That's the first time the bride has seen her guests all day. The first time that, because sometimes one of the couple are there in the morning. But the person who's been locked up in their room all morning hasn't seen anyone. That's going to be the most genuine bit of joy that they're going to get for the most of the day. It's so important to get.
Yeah, it's handy when you've got a second shooter, because then you just don't need to worry about it, and that's it. You're almost like guaranteed to get them. It's just more like sometimes, obviously, if you're in maybe like a church or something that
is locking up,
is about to lock up, and you need to get the microphone off the priest or whatever,
into a church before.
Before he half inches it.
I've left them. I once left a a monopod. So I was in a church and came out, and obviously I'm just like, like you say, just like forget all your gear. Usually leave everything outside and just like drop it and forget it. But I'd left this monopod in the church, and I'd gone across to the wedding. The venue was 45 minutes drive away. And then I got there and I was like, fuck. Straight away I knew I was like, I've forgotten this monopod. And that was the first time that I ever shot handheld like a full wedding. So I just was like, okay, so I've just got to carry on. And then I asked them just to hold off the speeches, and I went all the way back to this church to get my monopod, and then came back in time for the speeches. So, but from then I just never used the monopod again really throughout the day. So it was a blessing in disguise. So
it is quite freeing not having to. Because I tried the monopod thing for a bit, but I don't know, I just didn't.
I didn't buy an expensive enough one, and it just kept like I remember I had it standing, and then like the threads were just getting loose, so I just found the camera was just dropping lower and lower, and I'm like, oh my god, like unclip that, and it would just go lower again. I'm like, oh, I did buy it off Amazon. It didn't get them. I've seen some really cool expensive one. The one that what's his name?
Cobra.
Is Justin, the one that Justin's talking about.
I don't know. There's that
Essentially,
Cobra
like,
one.
He basically like compressed, like just
That's a new
squeezed
one,
it,
yeah.
and it just unlocks. And I'm like, that's what I need. I need something that just in, out, job done.
Yeah, that does look cool because that's just based on a.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it my mission. Although I say I'm gonna get rid of like the gimbal and stuff. I just love that compression. So we'll see the cameras come out with this year to fix that problem. But yeah, I'd love to go just handheld all day. That'd be class.
I mean, well,
It's
you
coming.
know, Panny.
coming.
I mean, to be fair, the stabilization in a lot of cameras now is good, but I mean, Lumix just you can't beat that stabilization. So
Gotta love it.
Anyway,
We should go for a break.
I had
We
somebody.
should, yeah. So
I had somebody second shoot for me on Panasonic, and they just like handheld the ceremony, and it was like as good as my tripod. So
yeah.
did you say you shoot Panasonic? No, you shoot Sony. Do you know?
No. This was somebody's second shot for me.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's it because there's an option on it for Boost IS, and it's basically like being on a tripod. You can just hold it there, and it's just so still.
Yeah.
I use it all the time. But anyway, on that note, we'll hear more from Chris after this short break.
Still delivering your wedding films by USB?
Ew.
We use Vidflow, the sleekest platform for delivering your wedding films. It makes your couples feel like they've got their own private Netflix.
Plus, with their white labeling service, you can customize everything from the branding to the custom domain, so you can make it super personal.
Want to wow your clients? Use the code TWVP10 to get 10% off all pro plans, including white labeling service.
Head on over to vidflow.co today and level up your wedding film delivery experience.
Let's talk about backlog.
Woo!
Editing piles up fast and is overwhelming.
That's why we use brideandgroom.video, a wedding editing company that delivers stunning wedding films faster without compromising on quality.
If you're looking for an editor that's going to match your unique style so it feels like you've made them, you've found them.
Use code TWVP75 at checkout to get £75 off your first order and try out their service.
Clear your backlog and grow your business. Try brideandgroom.video today.
Hasta la vista, backlog. So one thing we wanted to chat through with you was, I think looking at that video that you made for your win for TWIA, which we both loved, and some of the comments that were from clients that were on there, and obviously like your reviews and stuff, like it's evident because as we said at the start of this pod, your personality is that kind of like cheeky laddie kind of like personality, and that obviously you're obviously like that on a wedding day, so you're like unashamedly yourself at a wedding. Like how, because I know there'll be people out there just now that are similar but maybe are like a bit reserved, maybe like on a wedding. How what advice could you give to those people that maybe like want to get their personality across in a wedding but just feel a bit like, oh, I don't know, is it too much? Because you clearly are able to do it, no bother.
I think it's massive because like you can, a lot of people in the industry that can deliver like a beautiful film for the couple, and they'll always be thankful of that. But people will remember you for how you were on the day. If you can be kind of helpful on the day, if you can be kind, if you can drop in a few, you know, make people laugh and drop in a few jokes along the way and stuff, people will remember you for being that kind of open person who was great to be around on the day. And I always kind of, I always think if I can come away and people think, oh, was he your mate? Did you know that videographer? Or you know, that's a great kind of, that tells you that I've done a good job. I always focus on making sure that I'm kind of I enhance the day, basically just being there as opposed to kind of hiding away in the corner, which is dead easy to do as a videographer. You don't necessarily need to be kind of front and center, and kind of, you could easily just say very few words throughout the day, couldn't you? But
and is that always the approach that you've had, even back when you were shooting under the other brand, or is that do you feel like since being shooting under your own brand that kind of freed you up to be more of yourself? Or
no, I think from the beginning we've always, because we were young lads as well when we started, and we were kind of always would walk into a room and we'd be bouncing off each other, and you know, because we were best mates away from weddings as well. We'd always be personalities. People would be like, oh, it's the Anton deck of the wedding day kind of thing when there's myself and one of the photographers there. So it was more so me making sure that I continued that when I go on my own and I'm potentially working with, you know, photographers who I don't know, and just making sure that I put my personality out there, as opposed to just kind of reining it in. I think people have, like most brides and grooms, they haven't been married before. They want your guidance, and it's like a dead nervous day for them. There's a lot on their shoulders. They've put a lot of time and effort into it. So if you can bring a bit of like brevity to the situation and make people laugh about the day, you know, we've done it hundreds of times, so you can really put people at ease just by being yourself on the day. And if the day seems like a breeze to you as well, then that will help them throughout the day as well. I feel so anyway.
Yeah.
Great advice.
Yeah, absolutely. I think even it's not just on your films stuff. Obviously, you can see people enjoying themselves, and from the reviews you get. But even on your website, obviously, I mentioned a quote from your website at the beginning of the podcast, which I loved reading through because it you know, it comes across very likable, very relatable as well.
But that's it, isn't it? It's like, you know, people are looking at that and we're probably having a chuckle, like as we did, you know, and they're kind of like, okay, yeah, this guy, he's not taking himself too seriously, which again, you know, is going to appeal to a certain type of, you know, person as well. So they can go, his films are beaut, and he's just like a regular guy. He's just down to earth. He's quite funny. Mm-hmm. You can get that from. I do get like
copy. Quite a lot of inquiries where they're like, "Don't worry, I hate mushrooms as well. Like, they're my least favourite food." And just like little bits like that, where if people have taken the time to actually read my about me, then I know that they're pretty serious about booking. You know, everybody gets the inquiries where it's like, getting married here, are you available? Send me your prices or whatever. But when people have read that kind of information, and hopefully that puts across who I am as a person and who I'm going to be to them on their wedding day, you know.
100%. Yeah, they're investing in the time to get to know you because they're excited about your work. Yeah. So if they're quoting stuff about your About You page, you know you're in.
Yeah, we talk about red flags all the time, but that's a serious green flag, you know, for an inquiry when that comes through, because you know that they've taken the time to actually like read up about you. Yeah, it's like when I get ones and people go like, 3 kids. They're like, three kids, and I'm like, yeah, and like, do you want to know when they were born as well? May, June, July. Like, yeah, so no, that's great advice to give to somebody, because I think, you know, if we look at there is that common theme with people that are like successful, really successful in this line of work, and obviously the work has to be a certain standard, absolutely, but the ones that are definitely ones that get like their personality across, and through, be that like through Instagram or just like their website or their copy or their branding, it's all those little things that, you know, culminate to to being super successful in this, and obviously you're obviously smashing it. So keep at it, continue with it. Do you get? I guess you maybe get like a lot of, because we've talked about this before. Like grooms can sometimes be, generally, you know, if it's a same-sex couple, grooms can be a bit more standoffish or kind of like hard to like win over sometimes. But I know that you do talk about like your golfing and stuff, and I'm sure, is that like do you find that's maybe like an in sometimes with the guys, sometimes chatting about that?
Yeah, it's yeah, I suppose it's like I know what you mean. Like, and generally I'll always go to like the bride first, and then you know, that's always kind of, you know, great in, and then you go to the groom, and I know what you mean. It is kind of like, does the groom really want me here, or, you know? But I'll
He
always,
doesn't even know what
I'll
you're
always
meant to be
kind
doing
of
on the day. You could be the band for all he knows.
Yeah, I'll
Bands are here
always
a bit early, you know?
they're there for the food. I'll always kind of get on a video call before the wedding anyway. So like so whether they have one when they book, I'll get on a video call with them around about a month before. So, and I'll kind of like say, you know, it's best to have them both on, because there's nothing worse than walking into a room and not knowing, like, for example, who the bride is or who the groom is, and just kind of like saying their name and hoping that they say yes. There's nothing worse than that. So it's good to kind of meet them, and then and just like, I'll always kind of just try and chat to them in that call, and just kind of make sure that they know that I'm not going to be like this guy who's sticking a camera in their face. I'm just kind of going to be this laid back guy. We're just going to have a laugh. And yeah, I've never had any issues with that really with grooms.
So you've got your win for TWIA. What's next? What's next on the cards? Are you going to be like Real Madrid and you know, defend the title back to back? Is that going to be the aim, or?
I don't know. I tend to make my decision last minute, and when like, I think I entered this year quite last minute. I suppose I like to kind of make sure that I've, you know, got like good weddings and stuff. Had a good year to, you know.
Yeah.
No point entering if I kind of don't have a good year. Enter the same videos or whatnot, as enter new videos and stuff. So I don't know. I think I'll do it again. I've always done it again, so I think it'd be kind of against my nature to kind of quit now just because I've won. I think I'll probably get, and it's a good night out as well anyway. So
Yeah.
It is.
I think I treat that like, what's the golf tournament where they get? Is it a green jacket? Is that the Open?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's where they get. I would just treat it like a green jacket moment. Say, got it there. I'm done. Everyone else can have a go. I've had my time. Like, I just green jacket the shit out of that. Do you remember in 2024 when, you know, it's now 2060, Jason, calm it down. Oh, in 2024 I won this award. Yeah.
Retiring at the top of your game.
That's it.
Yeah.
All the ways down.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to seeing you enter again, and all the best for the next one. But until then, congratulations on your win. Thoroughly deserved. And yeah, enjoy this next year of claiming best videographer in the UK.
Yeah,
because you've earned it.
I tell everyone. Everyone I meet. My friends are sick of it. My friends are sick of it. I've made a GIF where I like put the trophy down. I just send it into every group I'm in every day. I'm going to lose a lot of friends over this week.
Which part of the trophy do you put down?
Just a little corner.
It's funny because I put it down and then it just, I've got it here. I put it down and then it just kind of snaps in half and then falls off.
Oh no!
Oh man!
No,
man.
but Damien at TWIA did send me a new trophy that is fixed. So
good.
That's good.
Without me even asking for it, so they're good people over there. So
yeah,
they are.
100%. The better trophies that get broken at those events, man. They do it to themselves. Like, Like, it's such a wild party.
I know.
They're
Mine
so
was just a
fucking-
bear
they're so
hug
big.
that ruined it from Joss. He picked me up and it like snapped, and it was first time we met. And I was like, oh man, got it.
That's why you came over and run up to me after I won my award with a big hug. You were trying to do the same, weren't
Smash it off the ground. That's my trophy.
you? Oh, man. I just got one more thing we'd like to ask. Humanizes our guests, even if they are award winners. Everyone messes up in this game. Is there a time where you've made a massive balls up at a wedding?
No, I don't know if you've heard, but I'm the best videographer in the UK at the minute. So we don't make mistakes, people.
Well, that's
No,
awful.
Strive for perfection, folks. That's
the
One day.
worst
One day.
moment of a wedding that I've ever had. It was at a venue called Iscoy Park, and the church was, it's like this tiny little quaint church in the middle of nowhere, like literally 5 minutes, 10 minutes away from the venue. So, captured the bride, get ready, and then I'm setting off to the church, and I get like halfway there, and my sat nav just cuts out, and I'm just completely lost, just driving around. Bearing in mind that I'm quite late to the ceremony anyway. So I'm trying to find this church, and it gets to the point where it's kick-off. Like, it is at the time where the ceremony's starting. And you can imagine I am, like, pouring with sweat. I'm like, fuck, I'm missing this ceremony. All I could do at this point was circle back round to the venue. So I circled back round to the venue, and fortunately, the bride's nan had fallen asleep or something like that. And so everyone was still there. But this is like, let's say it was a 1 o'clock ceremony. This was like 1:10 that I got back to the venue. So you can imagine if this didn't happen, I've just missed the ceremony completely.
Thank you, Nan.
So thankfully, Nan, she fell asleep, and I followed the bride's car to the ceremony. I was like, please just give me 5 minutes just to set up, and then and you can imagine I walked in there and I was just looked like a mess. The groom was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, don't worry about me. It's fine. Let me just get this sorted."
This is just business as usual. That's what it's always like.
it's terrifying.
It's
It
so
was
stressy that, like, see, when you're, and it's so often at churches because there's like no parking or whatever, and you're just like, oh man, I need to get in front of you, let me in.
I remember there was once the sat nav. It was basically this church in this really, really small town that we were going to, and of course I did the cardinal mistake, which is like wait too long to get the reveal with her father, like because they were running late and she really wanted that thing, and I was the only shooter there that day, but I waited too late, like for them to be ready. So they did it essentially 5 minutes before they were about to leave. I was like, okay, no, I'll stay. I should have left to find it. Sat nav takes me to the small town, and I just remember it saying, "You have arrived," and I'm in the middle of like a field. There is no church here. Where the hell is it? And of course, like she's just left 5 minutes behind me, and I'm trying to like go on Google in the middle of a field with very low signal, and it says it's like 3 miles down the road, and I'm like, oh my God, okay, so I drive there immediately. It's not like on the high street. It's like behind this little housing estate. So I basically just ditched the car on double yellow lines, grab my bags, run in. She has arrived. Like, she is just outside. I just don't even bother with a second tripod. I just go at the top of the aisle, get one angle, go on the groom, go on the bride, and then when they do their first hymn, set up everything else. It was honestly the most stressful situation ever.
It sounds horrible.
It's
Give me the fear.
I've done that before, where I've like abandoned my car like in the middle of a town, and then I went and moved it during the hymns. So I'd like got everything set up, and then I just left and moved my car. And then also like literally last year, because all of the key things in the morning happen last minute. And for me, I'd rather make sure that I capture that, like the bride reaction, the bridesmaid's reaction. And I had one this year, and it was just so late, and like I was just like, I've got to stay. And I literally followed the bridesmaids to the church. I got to the church, I'm like, it's fine, like I'll just say, can I have 5 minutes, and the vicar will be sound. Absolute knob, complete giant knob, and he was like, no, we haven't got 5 minutes. It was like, "You are late, and you sir are on God's time." And I was like, "Okay, brilliant." So I just had to walk in there, take all my gear, drop it, and I just filmed it. I obviously set up my audio, and then I just filmed it with one camera as she walked down the aisle, and then just set up my stuff, as the intro kind of, the intro bit. So that was horrible, but I just expected there to be some kind of decency, just to give me 5 minutes to get set up. But
Honestly.
how I was wrong.
Yeah, you don't always get it, sadly. But hey ho, you play the hand you're dealt sometimes, and then you still are able to make beautiful films and win the national awards. There you go, folks.
Honestly, if they knew what happened behind the scenes, they'd give us all an award.
They would. Chris, thank you so much for coming on the pod today. It's been great getting to chat to you, and just hear more about the ins and outs of being the best wedding videographer in the UK. So
if you want to find him, you can find him at King of Wedding Videography at King of Wedding Videography on Instagram.
Yes.
theking.com.
It's not an easy job, boys, but somebody's got to do it. And just before we sign off as well, good luck to you both for your summit coming up. Is it April?
April, mate. Yes, thank you very much. It's in 3 weeks.
I'm
4 weeks.
gutted that.
I
can't.
Well, actually, I'm trying to think when this pod is going live.
It's soon.
It's soon.
It's very
soon. It's very, very soon.
I'm gutted that I can't be there, but I couldn't commit to travelling all the way up to Scotland with a tiny little baby
Totally
back home. So I've missed out on this one, and I'll make sure I catch you guys next time. So,
absolutely.
Yep. Keep the date in your diary free. 31st of March is the date for the next one. So yeah, but yeah, we'd love to host you up here. But we're super excited for it, man. And yeah, hopefully see you at the next one. But we will see you at Coda, because Jason and I will both be at Coda later on this year, which we're super excited about as well.
Yeah.
Amazing. Looking forward to it, boys.
For our listeners out there that want to find you, where can they find you? If you can drop your Instagram and website details.
Instagram is C_J Wedding Films. You'll see my beautiful face as the profile picture, so you should be able to find me. And website Christopher James Films.com. If I can't find it, there's no hope any of my clients finding it. So you'll find me. Just Google me. I'm there somewhere.
Yeah. We'll stick it in. If feeling that, like Jay said, the King of Wedding Videography, search that in Google. I'm sure his face will pop up at some point. But
exactly.
But mate, thank you so much, and all the best as well for starting out as a family of 4. It's having
Cheers,
two
mate.
is great. I'm not so sure I would recommend the third one at this point, but ask me again in a year or so's time. But yeah.
No, get yourself neutered, mate. It's fine. Pop down to the vet.
Well, good luck with that. I also need to get that done as well at some point. But on that note, I've been Danny.
I've been Jace.
And I've been Chris.
That's been that Wedding Videographer podcast. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.